So let's talk about Gleipnir. This is a series that I knew about for a long time because I absolutely love death game anime. Whenever I watch stuff like Mirai Nikki and Darwin's Game, this series constantly got recommended to me. But honestly, the whole mascot bear design completely turned me away from it. I thought it looked really dumb and I thought there was no way I'd actually take it seriously, but I was wrong the entire time. And if you're new to the channel, I don't really do these super deep analytical breakdowns where I explain every tiny detail and hidden symbol. I really just talk about anime from the heart. I talk about what made me feel something. So if you enjoy content like that, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, you will love it here. But anyways, back to the video. The series follows Shuichi, and from the very beginning you can tell something about him feels off. He's smart, like genuinely smart, probably one of the smartest students at his school. He was even expected to receive a recommendation for college for some reason, but he didn't. Somebody else got chosen instead, and while watching the early episodes, you can definitely tell there's this weird disconnect with him, almost like he's trying to live a normal life while something inside of him keeps pulling him away from it. Because Shuichi can transform into this giant mascot-like creature, basically a teddy bear. And when he transforms, he gains enhanced physical abilities, superhuman strength, speed, agility, heightened senses, especially a heightened sense of smell. The anime subtly hints at this before you even fully understand his powers. He notices scents other people can't. He reacts to things instinctively, and honestly, that becomes really important later because Shuichi's transformation isn't just physical. The more he uses it, the more he starts giving in to the instincts of the beast itself. The reason he transformed in the first place though was because he chose to save a girl from a burning building. That girl is Claire Aoki, our second main character. Now I'm not gonna lie, when I first met Claire, I could not stand her. Shuichi literally risked his life to save her while she was attempting you know what, and afterwards she immediately starts blackmailing him. She threatens to expose him to the entire school unless he cooperates with her. So naturally I was like, yeah, this girl sucks. But over time you realize Claire is way more complicated than she first appears. When Shuichi saves her, he bursts through a wall in monster form, showing off just how physically powerful he really is. But there's also this really uncomfortable scene afterward where Claire notices the way he's acting around her while she's quote-unquote unconscious and partially exposed. At first it seemed a bit weird, but like I said, the more you understand Shuichi's transformation, the more that moment makes sense. His senses are heightened to an animalistic level, and at that moment, you can see him struggling against those primal urges that come with becoming a beast. It's not really even portrayed as him being some evil person, it's more of him becoming a monster. It's overriding his human instincts to become his animal instincts. He looks disturbed by his own behavior, like he hates the fact that these impulses even exist to him, and Claire noticed it instantly. That scene becomes much more important because Claire realizes Shuichi isn't just hiding powers, he's terrified of what he's becoming. Eventually, she forces him to reveal the truth by pushing him off the school roof, leaving him no choice but to transform in front of her, and from there, the story really starts to take off. Claire begins asking questions about how he became a monster, but the thing is, Shuichi himself doesn't really know. Claire is searching for monsters because of what happened with her sister. Her sister Elena used to be kind, caring, and loving, then suddenly one day she murdered their parents, completely out of nowhere. During the incident, Claire saw her transform into a monster-like being. Nobody believed her afterward, but Claire knew what she saw. That's why she became obsessed with finding answers, and that leads into the gold coins, a big part of the story. Claire received one from her sister and starts realizing that these coins are connected to the transformations and powers that people have, and honestly, the mystery surrounding these coins is one of the strongest parts of the entire series. The deeper the story goes, the crazier everything becomes. But the real heart of the show, to me, is the relationship between Shuichi and Claire, because Claire comes up with the insane idea of climbing inside Shuichi's transformed body, which sounds ridiculous out of context, but the anime actually makes it work. There's a zipper on the back of his mascot form, and once she enters it, she can control his body, almost like they're synchronizing into one being, and that idea of becoming one is a huge theme throughout the entire series. Shuichi and Claire are complete opposites. Shuichi is gentle, passive, emotional, and honestly pretty weak mentally when it comes to violence. Claire is blunt, ruthless, fearless, and willing to make horrible decisions if it means to survive. And there's even a moment early on where Claire kills someone while controlling his body. Shuichi blames himself because deep down he knows he could have stopped her, but he also understands that if Claire didn't act, they probably would have died instead. That dynamic is what makes them so interesting and great. Shuichi physically has the power, but Claire has the willpower. He's not a fighter, he's not a killer. Claire understands that immediately, so she becomes the one willing to do the hard things. But despite how cold she acts, you slowly realize that Claire is completely broken inside. One of my favorite moments in the series happens right after their first confrontation. Shuichi starts distancing himself from her after they killed this person together, but eventually they sit down and actually talk honestly. And Claire admits that after witnessing her sister murder her parents, she lost any reason to keep living. Everyone around her treated her like she was crazy. Nobody believed her story. She wanted to die. But now that she met Shuichi, she feels like her life genuinely has purpose again. And this is where the whole becoming one theme really hits, emotionally, because she tells him that even though everything terrifies him, she promises him one thing. If his life is ever in danger and he dies, she'll die right alongside him.
I'm so scared. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how I got like this. I'm afraid of what will happen. What if this is some sort of rare disease? Am I just gonna die out of nowhere? Or what if I transform and I can't change back? Will I have to live the rest of my life like that?
I had no idea. You are so afraid of transforming, and yet you still came to save me. You're actually very strong. I can't guarantee you won't be killed. There's no way to stop the worst from coming true. Things may only spiral from here. With that in mind, there is one promise I can make for you right now. It doesn't matter why or how or when. If something happens and your life is threatened, I'll die with you. Because I can't stop the hands of death. But at least then you won't have to die all alone. The two of us will become one. Together.
Really? So what if I said I wanted to die right now?
Alright. If this is what you want, then I will be waiting for you.
This was an amazing moment in the show, because these are two deeply lonely people who found someone capable of understanding the ugliest parts of themselves. Shuichi is terrified of the monster he's becoming, and Claire accepts him anyway. Claire feels completely abandoned by the world, and Shuichi gives her a reason to keep living. It starts feeling less like coincidence and more like destiny to me. And then there's Elena, Claire's sister, who honestly becomes one of the most interesting characters in the series. I won't spoil too much because that's not really what I do here, but she is insanely important to both Claire and Shuichi in ways you probably won't expect at first. Power system itself is also surprisingly cool. Everyone who gets involved with the coins develops abilities based on their desires and personalities. Some are powers for combat, while some are just straight up bizarre. One character can manipulate plants, another one can force people to tell the truth, while others are built completely around raw strength. But Shuichi's power stands out because he doesn't even remember choosing it. Why a mascot suit? Why a bear? Why does his form specifically require another person to complete it? The series slowly peels back these layers, and when the truth starts coming out, it's pretty wild. I genuinely didn't expect this series to pull me in the way it did. I went into Gleipnir expecting edgy nonsense, and instead I got a series with a strong atmosphere, surprisingly emotional character writing, a mystery that kept getting more interesting the further I got in, and honestly, not many shows make me want to immediately read the manga afterward. Usually I finish an anime and I'm satisfied, but with this series I needed more. I had to know where the story was going, and Claire especially ended up becoming my favorite character in the show. At the start she feels unhinged, manipulative even, but as the series goes on, you realize she's carrying the emotional burden for both herself and Shuichi. She makes the hard decisions because she knows that he can't, and even though she acts strong, you can tell she hates having to do these hard things. But she'd still do it again, all over again for him, because at this point they're really all each other have. So yeah, I know this was a bit of a shorter video, but if you're a Gleipnir fan, I got you, I'm here. And if you've been avoiding this anime because of the designs of the mascot and it looked weird, give it a shot, because I was once you as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.